5 minutes after the hour of 6 a.m. It's Thursday, March 21st, 2019. Happy spring, everyone. 27 degrees outside. Shane Matobin on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia. Half man, half amazing, half junkyard dog, half, I don't know. Yeah, right.
What a beautiful moon last night, Thomas.
That was a beautiful moon, wasn't it? Yeah, coming in the morning, there it was, bright and big giant moon out there, so pretty nice.
Clear skies.
Yeah, for a change.
Well, that's what I mean.
Not full of snow.
Yeah, you could actually see the moon.
We could actually see the moon for a change. Yeah, we miss out on a lot of stuff like that, Shane. The eclipses and things like that happened overnight. I don't know. We've always seemed to have cloud cover here, so I don't know, but.
Yeah, I know exactly how you feel. It's just one of those things, it's all dependent on the weather, right? That's what it is.
Well, and speaking of the weather, let's talk a little bit about that. Yeah, we're looking for a high of 44 degrees again today. Snow is starting to leave slowly but surely. Our streets are starting to, you can see pavement again in some spots. So we're excited about that. And 21 will be the overnight low. It'll be mostly sunny today. Tomorrow, a high of 43, partly cloudy, and then back up to 44 on Saturday. Overnight low 26, so staying pretty much the same. Slight chance of snow or rain on Sunday. High of 40 degrees. Overnight low of 25. Only about a 25 or so percent chance of any snow or rain coming in there. And then on Monday, we're back up to 46 and 24 the overnight low, 48 on Tuesday and 25 the overnight low, and 46 on a Wednesday, and less than an inch of snow predicted. But again, it's a pretty low percentage, so I'm hoping that we continue the melting, and as long as we stay in these 40s, and so I think we're gonna get out of this. Okay. Although they scraped our street, and I didn't think I was going to get out of the driveway this morning because I put a big lump in front of it, and I backed down, and I thought I hit another car.
Oh, God.
So anyway, I'm backing out.
There you go.
Then I got stuck and was able to pull back in, and then I really hit it going out backwards and made it out to the street. So.
And no one was coming, of course.
Yeah, no one was coming. Well, it's 4:30 in the morning, So
yeah, I know. Exactly.
Not a lot of people up running around, so I felt pretty safe. No cars across the street for me to slide into, so that was good. So I was all right. Temperatures around the area right now: 23 degrees over in Livingston. Manhattan is 17 and clear. Three Forks is 16. Gateway is 26. Ennis is 17 right now. Gardner 22. Big Sky is 23 degrees over at the airport in Belgrade. It's 19 degrees, and gosh, we're all the way up to 27 degrees already, looking for a high of 44 today, Shane. So
you're bragging.
I am bragging. We're looking for it, man. So, well, you were 70 the other day. Don't even go there.
82 yesterday.
No way.
Yeah, and it's 46 right now. And it's supposed to be a high of 72 today.
Oh, man, I don't know what to tell you, so.
So you got good weather headed your way.
I don't see how you're that much warmer when you're north of us. Come on, how does that work?
Because we're Canadian.
I don't know. I just don't get that. I understand Florida being in the 70s. I don't understand Vancouver being in the 80s. Come on.
Well, I know, but like Kamloops is like 4 hours away from here north.
Yeah.
So it's like 600 miles north of you. Same exact weather, your sister city. We've talked about this. I mean,
Yeah, okay.
Same winter, same summer, same temperature, same growing season.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you say so. I don't know.
It is.
I don't think Canada's an actual real place. I think you're in Kansas or somewhere.
No,
I think you're pretending to be in Canada.
We're actually a part of Siberia, but the land bridge got,
yeah,
covered,
went away.
So.
Yeah, got covered with water.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the British are at it again in 1556. Thomas Craner, the former Archbishop of Canterbury, was burned at the stake for heresy.
Of course. Wow. Too bad they don't do that today with some of these priests.
That's a tough way to go, burned at the
It
stake.
is.
I mean, that's not something that happens quick.
No, not even close.
That's that's not a lethal injection by any means.
No, that's fine.
1685, composer Johann Sebastian Bach was born in Eisenach, Germany. And 1790,
We'll start.
the what?
I'm sorry. Amazing composer. Started writing music at 5. Lived to 65. Composed over 1,000 pieces of work. And it was just an amazing guy. He wrote it in 4-part harmonies, which he helped develop because most musical was modal music, church music.
Right.
So he expanded beyond that, and the harpsichord was one of his favorite instruments. But of course, he could play every instrument.
Of course he could.
And his uncles were taking him around Europe at 10 performing.
Wow.
Can you imagine working at 10? They had no child labor laws back then.
I know. Yeah, that'd be the equivalent of what Michael Jackson or Elvis showing up, I guess, in most of these places.
Very good, yeah.
1790, Thomas Jefferson took office as America's first Secretary of State. So he
amazing guy too. Third president of the United States. He was
wrote the Declaration.
Second vice president.
Yeah,
I wrote Declaration of Independence. A president from 1801 to 1809, and then James Madison after him. So the first 4 presidents: George, John Adams, Jefferson, and then James Madison, all Episcopalians, soft Catholic.
There you go. All right. Well, in 1804, the French Civil Code, the Code Napoleon, was adopted. Why we care and why that's even on this list, I don't know, but
it's important because
why?
Well, first of all, the Napoleonic Code is still referenced today.
Wow.
In all common law. Not only that, but most of the code that Napoleon, which he wrote all of it, the civil code he wrote, of course, is held up under the French Republic. And by the way, we've talked about this before. Unlike in the United States, where you're innocent until proven guilty in a criminal action against you by the state, in France, if you are charged criminally, you are guilty and you have to prove your innocence.
Right.
So riddle me that one. Can you imagine that working in the U.S.?
That's not a good thing at all.
No, that would not be a good thing, no.
1918, Germany launched the Samoan offensive during World War I, hoping to break through the Allied lines before American reinforcements could arrive.
This was the real turning point in the war. And the reason was the Rainbow Brigade from the United States first arrived in May, but the bulk of the American Army didn't get there till midsummer, and then they had to train or something to get used to the environment and everything. And General Pershing, who had been at the Mexican border in the U.S. fighting the Mexicans, led the charge, and they broke through the German lines and ended World War II, as we know, on November 11 a.m., November 11th, 1918.
All right.
The 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month.
11/11/11. Yep.
You got it, buddy.
There you go, man. All right, in 1960, police fired on black demonstrators in Sharpeville, South Africa, killing some 70 people. So
that was the beginning of the end of apartheid, as you know. Meaning, finally, the African American started fighting back against the whites of South Africa. And
the Civil War, the Civil Rights Acts had started here in 57 under Eisenhower, and then we passed them in 60 and 64 and whatever. So that movement carried over to South Africa, and that did pretty much end apartheid. That they were energized by the efforts that were being done in the United States. So why not?
That's right.
Yeah. Well, in 1963, Alcatraz prison in San Francisco Bay was emptied of its last inmates. And I don't know, that seemed like a nice place to keep the worst of the worst over there in Alcatraz.
Yeah,
Seemed like a nice spot.
It's like Guantanamo Bay,
Yeah.
and natural barriers.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. You want to swim across freezing shark-infested water? Go for it.
Yeah, exactly. And unfortunately, I think the reason they shut it down was that the federal government didn't want to continue upgrading and managing it, of course.
Yeah.
And rather than tear it down and rebuild it, they just closed it. And now you can go there and get locked up for free.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a tourist attraction now. You can go see Al Capone's cell and
that's right. Get a selfie.
Stuff. Yeah. There you go. Get a selfie and a selfie with Al. Well, on this date in 1965, more than 3,000 civil rights demonstrators led by Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. began their march from Selma to Montgomery, Alabama, and they still celebrate that march on a yearly basis down there, I guess. And
they do indeed.
So, yeah.
And they should,
yeah.
because it's huge.
It was a turning point, too, when people saw that, hey, particularly when they saw them go after them with water cannons and dogs and everything else, the American people said, hey, maybe it's time to adjust this a little bit. So.
And he got his idea from Gandhi's walk from New Delhi, which is in the center of India, all the way to the ocean.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, he wrote about that. He was a big influence on Martin Luther King, as he was the rest of the world.
Yeah. Well, a few years later, police in Langa, South Africa, again opened fire on blacks marching to mark the 25th anniversary of the Sharpeville shooting. They killed at least 21 demonstrators, killed 70 in the original and 21 in the next one. So they're either bad shots or I don't know.
And that was the beginning of the end for apartheid.
There, yeah, it's pretty much over by then. And Nelson Mandela came to power, and the rest is kind of history.
That's right, sir.
Yeah, even spending some time in jail, still the leader in jail, just like the mobsters.
Government has its way of doing certain things.
Yeah. 1987, the album The Joshua Tree by U2 was released, and U2, the most successful touring band in history, I guess, Shane.
That's right.
Bono and the boys. Yeah.
That's right. And I have to say this because we grew up and I remember this, but back in that day, the big music women loved was Barry White. And then along came YouTube. Yeah. And it made things go, make sparks fly. Made the sparks fly.
There you are, yeah. In 2000, a divided Supreme Court ruled the government lacked authority to regulate tobacco as an addictive drug. So I guess the FDA had no power at all on that deal.
No,
certainly not. Well, eventually, though, we got warnings on cigarettes and taxes and all of that stuff. So there you go. 2006, a social media website, Twitter, was launched with the first tweet by the co-founder Jack Dorsey. And Dorsey was just on the news the other day talking about, we don't, I'm left-leaning, but we don't discourage conservatives being on our platform.
Yeah, sure
right. Yeah. You got a bridge?
Yeah, exactly. And it's only 16 years ago. What's incredible about technology in the 21st century is its immediate impact. You and I look back to the infrastructure and what it took to put up the power, the power circuit, and we're way over time. You got to go.
Yeah, I know.
You got to talk.
I know.
Farmers that save us.
That's right, man. The farm report's waiting in the wings. The farmers are chomping at the bit, so to speak. All right, we got to take over.
Sorry, Mayor.
Yeah, we got to take care of our ranchers, farmers, and all those folks out there that bring a product to market. And we appreciate all you guys very much out there. So here's Montana News and Ag. 25 minutes after the hour of 6 a.m. It's Thursday, March 21st, 2019, 26 degrees outside. Welcome to the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. Shane in Vancouver, British Columbia. Tommy Galoff, your morning mayor, in the house. And, Shane, finally the judge is going to hear did hear the arguments on the Safety Center suit. And it's not a three-piece suit either. It is a Safety Center suit brought by Roger Koopman and a couple of other people that The city acted improperly in getting out the vote for the safety center. They campaigned like it was a candidate and not that it was a, hey, we got this thing up, vote as you like. They had vote yes everywhere and had pamphlets and hats and T-shirts and everything else, I guess. But
yeah, the city was sort of partisan with regard to that.
Yeah, they were pretty partisan. Anyway, well, this is a $36.9 million campaign, and since we haven't been able to pass a law and justice center that keeps everybody in the same place, the city decided, hey, we're going on our own, and we'll just put our police and our city courts and stuff in one building, and you guys in the county can do whatever you want to do. So yeah. That's where it kind of came down to. The other interesting thing was that all three of the Gallatin County judges recused themselves from hearing this thing. So we had to go over to Park County District Judge Brenda Gilbert to take this thing on. But she said she will issue a written decision without delay. And I guess the 2-hour meeting was primarily whether this thing even should be in court or not.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's pretty fascinating.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it did pass, and the lawsuit is to whether we kick that decision out because it was I don't know, a violation of electioneering, I guess, or
your election laws,
something like that, election laws, whatever. Yeah. So I think it'll stand. It would just be so big a can of worms to turn this thing around and re-vote on it and everything else. We've got the Law and Justice Center coming on the ballot next year with along with the $200 a year park property tax increase.
Right. Yeah.
So
an interesting thing about judges fall into two groups. One group of judges likes to set precedent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So to create a legacy.
Yeah. Legislate from the bench, as they say.
Right, and then it has to be appealed to upper courts and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And other judges don't set precedent, and they just make a decision based on the law.
Follow the law and precedent.
That's right.
Whatever's
so
there.
We'll see which way this goes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and it's an elected judge. Remember, the judge doing this is elected, right?
That's right. Yeah, they are all elected. But I just think it's interesting that nobody in Gallatin wanted to touch this thing. This is a toxic bill, man. I'm not going anywhere near it. So
clearly, they all know the people involved as either plaintiffs.
Yeah. So it would make sense, and so Brenda Gilbert's going to take the heat, but she won't take the heat from Bozeman because she's over in Livingston or in Park County somewhere. So who cares?
She probably doesn't play golf, and these guys probably all do play golf together.
I would imagine. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll find out. So. All right, hey, we got to wrap it up for this half hour. When we come back, we got a couple of dead folks in a murder-suicide happening in town. We've also got climate change block going on. And in Wyoming, we've got killing of smallmouth bass. We got high-tech growing in Bozeman. So we got a lot of things to talk about when we come back. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. And Shane and I will return shortly. Hey, don't forget Kitabaloo coming up on April 6th, Saturday, 10 to 3. Get your tickets at ticketwest.com. And grandparents, take the kids, take the grandkids down there.
Absolutely.
Give the mom and dad a little rest, let them go out on a Saturday for maybe a nice lunch and a little stroll in the park in our nice weather. So,
well, it's good for the grandparents. They just sit down with an ice cream cone and let the kids go play.
All right, it is 23 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Thursday, March 21st, 2019, 27 degrees outside. Welcome to the KMMS Soapbox with Tom and Shane Matobin in Vancouver, British Columbia. Tom Eagleoff, your morning mayor in downtown Bozeman. And Shane, we got a caller. Let's go to the phone, see what the callers have to say this morning. Caller, you are on the air. What's up?
Hey, good morning, Tom. I just wanted to let you know, I usually pick you guys up on the other side of the pass on 1340.
Yeah.
Out of Livingston. You're not coming in this morning. It's all dead air.
Yeah, I sent a text. Somebody.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. No, it's fine. Somebody did text me earlier about that, so I sent it over to our engineer and the GM, so maybe they'll get on it and see what's going on there. But yeah, we apologize that
No,
1340 is not there.
Make sure you were aware of it, Tom.
Well, I appreciate that, and don't hesitate to call. We don't always know, so by all means, let us know about that so we can let the powers that be try to figure out what switch isn't flipped or something or whatever.
While you're on the phone, throw us a question of the day.
Good one, Shane.
Shane's fishing.
I am fishing. Yeah.
Well,
I love callers.
Yeah,
the callers make it fun.
Well, they do make it fun. Yeah. Well, it's boring listening to just the two of us all day.
Yeah.
We should talk about our poll question, though. Should 16-year-olds be allowed to vote? Yes, kids are smarter than they used to be, or no, their heads are full of mush. Either or. So get over to KMMSAM.com and vote.
I'll bet on this one 100% no all day.
No all day. You think that'll be no all day?
It'll be 100% all day. Yeah,
all right. You can also vote over at our website or at our smartphone, AM 1450 KMMS. And we've got a new message center over there, too, that you can either text us or you can sign up for the message center. You'll see the... When you go over to the KMMS on your smartphone, you will see when it opens up, you'll see listen on the left side, and then right next to that is a message us. And all you need to do is click on that and sign up. And anytime you click that message, it'll just open a message thing, and you can send it right over to us. So,
and if you do that and you go to our Facebook page and give us a like.
Give us a like. We only need 9 more people for 1,000 likes on Facebook. So if you're not on Facebook, the chances are you know someone who is. Your cousins, your uncle, your kids. Strap the kids down to the kitchen table and tell them to like KMMS. That none of their classmates will be aware of it. So have them sign up to like us. So we're trying to get to 1,000 to impress the bean counters that look at the show and say, "Hey, you growing the station at all?" Well, yeah, we're trying our best to. So let's go get that done. Well, we had a man and woman found dead in a home again. A homicide, suicide. They're calling it. The Bozeman Police Department thinks so, but. Apparently, a friend of one of the victims called law enforcement and asked for a welfare check on that person, not a welfare, check in the mail, but check on their welfare.
Check on their welfare.
Right, yeah. And he said the person had some concerns for the safety because of either statements made by the person or past history. So they didn't provide a location for the people, but... the law enforcement went out there and did a search of several houses and finally found the right one. And unfortunately, they found the 2 people dead, and a sad situation. We always hate to see that in Bozeman. There are suicide helplines and things like that. And, this person who called the police certainly should be commended because they did see something and said something. So from that standpoint, we should offer them kudos for their getting involved and trying to make a difference. And unfortunately, in this case, it was just too late. But if you see something, say something. You might be wrong and, you might get someone upset. But, hey, if you're right, the consequences can be not good.
Better safe than sorry, yeah? That's what we grew up with.
That's right. All right, we got to take a quick break. We'll be right back. No Noxatril, no Babble, but you are going to get the Anderson Root Canal. We'll be back in 2 minutes, and 1 minute of it will be the Anderson Root Canal. So hang in there. 16 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Thursday, March 21st, 2019, 27 degrees outside. Tom Eagleoff, your morning mayor. Welcome to the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. Shane and Tom in Vancouver, British Columbia, half man, half amazing. And
well, thank you.
We're never supposed to badmouth our sponsors, but I say this as a business professional that whoever okayed that Anderson commercial with the root canal, I'm sorry, that doesn't make me want to buy a window. It just doesn't, I mean, I'm saying this, we love our sponsors. We want you to buy windows from Anderson, Montana.
Yeah, exactly.
But boy, that one needs revision, I think. Instead of a root canal, why not use our acupuncturist mechanic from our parades, wing nut? The wing nut sticking the needles in the in your air compressor and your air conditioning and your.
Yeah, it's sort of a hard sell, isn't it? Yeah, it is.
Well, it is. And I think people concentrate more on the yelling and screaming and cringe from that.
Yeah, exactly.
And they don't think of nice windows in their house that Anderson Windows can provide. So we'll give them a little extra shout out as being a good sponsor, and we love them.
Right.
We love them.
And I'm sure the windows are modern, 21st
are
century.
great.
So they could talk.
They could
talk about how it can save you money with your heating bill and all kinds of other angles to it.
I don't know, but that's.
They should hire us as.
They should. They should. Yeah, should get us on the block there. So, but as I say, I do that as a. I do that as a service to them because we have had people text us and say, we don't like that one. We don't like the Noxatril.
Yeah, exactly.
We've had it with Michael Savage and his, but hey, they're paying us. I got to play them, so I don't have a choice.
If the government's going to listen to the mayor about the naming of the high school, then the company should listen to you about their marketing.
Absolutely.
There you go, buddy.
There you go, man.
And you are the expert in marketing of small business.
All right. Well, in other news, a judge blocked oil and gas drilling across almost 500 square miles in Montana and said the U.S. government must consider climate change impacts more broadly as it leases huge swaths of public land for emergency exploration. And what a crock of excrement that is.
Well, it is. Of all the countries in the world, your country is leading everyone with its reduction in CO2 emissions.
Yes.
Yeah. No one's meeting their goals, but the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
And
no one cares. The Paris Accords got no teeth. It's voluntary. It's opt in. If you want to get in, go ahead. And but I don't know. This climate change is just getting out of control here. That we're going to do a story a little later that it's comparing water and climate change in the 7 o'clock hour.
Well, it's theory. It's not real science. It's just theory.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that as I say, if we're getting warmer, shouldn't Death Valley be getting warmer? I mean, how come it's 72 in Vancouver and it's it's like 25 below here?
That's right.
I mean, come on.
Weather patterns shift around the planet constantly. That's what makes it a remarkable planet. Is that
Yeah. Well,
and all you have to do is look up in the sky, and there's as much of an ocean in the sky as there is on the land.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and people tell me, well, Tom, you're talking about weather, you're not talking about climate. Well, I am, and that's true. But it's pretty hard to separate the two.
Well, you see, the problem is if they called it weather change.
Yeah. Oh, that wouldn't go down well. No. Yeah.
That would go.
Well, they had to abandon global warming, because we said and go to climate change. So we're right either way. I mean, they're experts at defining, where you can't. Wait a minute, the climate's changing, right? Well, yeah. Well, then 1,000 scientists are right. We're screwed in 12 years. Right. What's 12 years from a when?
Well, they can't call it weather change because all those weathermen that get paid $150,000 a year that are seldom right.
Yeah.
would have a real issue with it.
That's right. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me 847,000 times, you're a weatherman.
That's right.
That's right. Can't go along with that at all. So,
no.
Well, I don't know. These judges just drive me crazy that, they interject their personal bias in here. And this this is personal bias because it's strictly a theory, as you point out.
It's political. It's political, yeah.
And they say, 1,000 people agree on this. Agree on what? Agree on what, the temperature in Hawaii or the temperature in Borneo or what? What do they agree on?
And you look like I know this is referencing the new Green Deal, but you look, it's like they want us to go back 1,000 years. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, come on. Look what Canada and the U.S. has accomplished in 100 years. Civilizations have been around for 7,000 to 8,000 years that we know of written history. What have they been up to for that time?
Yeah.
But we got it done in 100. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it's I don't know. It's
okay. Tell me about this smallmouth bass. I want to hear that.
Well, let's take a phone call first, and then we'll talk about that because we got to take a break too. So.
Oh yeah.
Caller, thanks for calling the Morning Soapbox. You are on the box. What's up?
I have to agree with you on the Anderson window thing.
Yeah.
At first, I thought it was the ad about a dentist.
Yeah,
I did too.
I actually listened 3 or 4 times going, this has nothing to do with a window. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, that's why I say I'm not bashing our sponsors. Please understand. I
have a lot of Anderson windows in my house.
Well, good. Well,
I do.
Well, good. Yeah.
Well, they'd be better to you for an ad.
And they're wonderful people. Yeah, they should get a testimonial from you, and because you chances are you probably haven't done a root canal on your husband, right?
No, my husband passed away a couple of years ago, but no, he would have never let me do that.
Okay.
I just think it's really inappropriate. It has nothing to do with windows whatsoever. So.
All right. Well, thanks for the call. I appreciate it.
Yep. Bye.
Thanks for listening. Yeah. All right. We got to go, and we'll be right back. 6 minutes before the top of the hour. It is Thursday, March 21st, 2019, 20 degrees outside. From our text line, we've got a couple of things going on here. 478-8298. I'm amused by the reaction of the murder-suicide that has taken place here. The people interviewed are shocked because they think this is a small, tight-knit community. I've lived in this vicinity my whole life. This valley has tripled in population in 30 years. Bozeman maybe was a small community, but those days are gone. And the voting age should be increased as the kids are less informed and stupid. Ocasio-Cortez, anyone?
Yeah, that's right. Hand her a microphone.
Yeah. And one more. No. How many 16-year-olds know the branches of government compared with 100 years ago? Well, I would say probably not as many, so... I don't know. But at any rate, I think 16 is a little young to vote, but that's just me.
Well, and you think about it too, education, like let's be honest, in the 20th century, in the last 100 years, it came about as a federal issue, a responsibility of the state. So, before, so like I'd say 1950 or pre-1950, most kids were homeschooled, right?
Well, I don't know. In the 50s, we all went to public school in the 50s. I would say probably in the 30s or so they may have been homeschooled. Yeah.
But the point is that it's amazing because when you think about people like Lincoln and people back in the 19th century had to educate themselves to get to where they were. Yeah. And look what came about from that. Some remarkable people. So yeah. Anyway, education's everything, buddy.
It is. Well, if you want to be educated about smallmouth bass, state officials are going to poison a public pond outside of Belgrade. They're going to kill non-native smallmouth bass, and they're going to restock the pond, I guess, with rainbow trout. So good for them, let's get the smallmouth bass out of there. They don't belong here anyway. They're what you would call illegal immigrant fish.
That's right. They're not indigenous.
That's right. Yeah, they have no business being here. We should get rid of them and build a wall to
that's right.
keep them out. Yeah. Well, Montana Fish and Wildlife and Parks released a plan for public comment on Wednesday afternoon. The operation would focus on one public pond at the River Rock subdivision outside of Belgrade, which is known to host a smallmouth bass. And the Agency officials worry the residents of the public pond could be illegally introduced into the tributaries of the upper Missouri River, such as the lower Madison River, and the environmental assessment. The proposal says an introduction of smallmouth would cause irreparable impacts to wild trout population because the species could thrive in some area rivers. So that's the reason they're kicking them all out. So,
well, we had a terrible infestation of a Chinese fish called the climbing perch.
oh, yeah.
Anabas testudineus, native to Southeast Asia, and they crawl on dry land by dragging itself by the gills.
Wow.
The trouble is it's insidious because it eats everything. So they literally someone found one on a pond in a park here in Vancouver, drained the pond to find the one fish.
Wow.
Yeah. That's how serious they are here about that kind of thing.
Yeah. Let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255. Calling you on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
This is RJ, and I'm just wondering why Fish, Wildlife, and Parks let the illegal introduction of walleye go on in Canyon Ferry.
Well, that's another good question. Where do these non-indigenous fish come from, and who brings them in, and who stocks the ponds? And it seemed like there ought to be a fine or something if they're harmful to our native species.
Well, it's also hurt the winter migration of the bald eagle.
Well, that too, yeah.
That's right.
And
Whitefish Lake had the silver salmon. It got wiped out because someone dumped I don't want to mention it, but yeah, it's not cool that happens,
Well, Canyon Ferry in the winter used to be a go-to place to see the bald eagles in the early 90s.
Yeah.
And I've heard no mention of the bald eagles up there since.
Yeah. All right. Hey, thanks for the call. Thanks for the info. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. All right. We will be back. 7 o'clock hour coming up here. We've got to do 5 things you need to know. There's a couple things I want to talk about before we get to the 5 things. One is concealed carry failed in the MSU ballot. And also, we need to talk a little bit about the tech sector booming in Montana. So we're going to talk about those 2 things and some other things going on. Also, last Friday, Shane and Daniel had an altercation, and we need to address that when we come back. So we'll see how that plays out. So stay tuned for all of that coming up right after the news. 5 minutes after the hour of 7 o'clock, and it's Thursday, March 21st, 2019, 27 degrees outside. Shane Matobin on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia. Half man, half amazing. Tom Eagleoff, your morning mayor in the house, and you're listening to the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. Happy to have you along with us. From our text line, speaking of fish, wildlife, and parks, I see where Governor Bullock is getting a committee together to study grizzly bears. Biologists employed by FWP supposed to do that. Sounds like a classic liberal waste of money. And from our text line also, 478-8298, rainbow trout are not native. What the hell, FWP? So there you go. I don't know. I guess I don't know what to put in there. Put in that pond then. Guppies? I guess that'll be the... That'll be the next thing. Guppies or goldfish?
Goldfish.
Yeah, we'll put goldfish.
Well, I got to look that one up.
Yeah, I don't know about that. So, well, last Friday, Shane and Daniel, a regular caller, got into a beef with each other. A little bit of a discussion, I guess. Daniel was calling about Boeing and being a monopoly and whatever, and Shane pointed out some other airlines that are there, but. Anyway, in the part of that conversation, Daniel was asking why Shane's so hard on him, and Shane mentioned, well, sometime back you called me a troll, and Daniel disagreed with that. So, of course,
no, he denied it. He called me out.
He disagreed with you that he had said that. So, of course, as you know, we tape all of our shows, so. We went back in our archives to get the, as Paul Harvey would say, the rest of the story. So I'm going to play this context here. This call is about 1 minute and 20 seconds of, but it's going to put everything in context. I'm not just going to pull out a sound bite. We're going to put the whole thing in context. So, so Shane, you need to be quiet because this is on the same line you're on. So, so don't laugh, don't sneeze, don't cough, don't do anything till it's over. Okay?
You have my back, Eagle Man. What can I do?
I got it, man. Okay. So here's the exchange from January 9th, 2019. 4 minutes before the top of the hour, let's take a quick phone call. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, you are on the air. What's going on?
Well, first of all, is the negative sarcastic troll there?
There's two of us here. Which sarcastic troll do you want?
Well, last time I was on, somebody just jumped all over me, so I'm glad.
For what? For what?
Name. Well, well, whatever. Seems like anything I have to say seems to be out of the mainstream, so people jump all over me. This time I was going to say that, as you know, there's a poll in the Chronicle, and I voted against putting the Trump's wall up, and I see that I was far in the majority. It would have been if it were a vote, it would have been a landslide, about 60% to 36%. What are you two guys saying about putting a Trump's $5-point-something billion wall up?
Okay, and that's the clip, and I think Shane and I are both for putting the wall up. So, end of story probably on that part. So
yeah.
But anyway, and we didn't play this to call Daniel out. It was, if there's a disagreement of, one of our rules is Shane and I. Well, I don't. I don't call people names. Shane can because he's in Canada. He can do whatever he wants to do. But what our rules for us anyway are we don't call people names. We don't hang up on people unless we've got to go to a break or top of the hour or something like that. And we don't make fun of people after they've hung up and can no longer defend themselves. So we're not doing this but if we are called out for saying something, then I'm glad that we taped the show so that we can go back and say, this is what really happened. And the reaction from Shane was because he was, insulted. And, it's his right to defend himself, I would think. And so he did. And so that's why we revisited that clip. And, we, as I say, we wish no ill will to any of our callers. And we're not going to fact check every call we get because that's pretty tough to do. So, but anyway, I thought we would clear that up since it was, it was last Friday. It took us a while to find the exact day and whatever it was, but we were able to. So that's why we brought it to light for those of you who heard it. The discussion that was had last Friday. Then if you didn't hear it, go back to KMMSAM.com and listen to our last Friday show. It was in the second hour, I believe. And so that will kind of clear everything up. So we appreciate it. All right.
And I thank you, Eagle Man, for having my back once again.
All right, man. Well, I don't want anybody to get on you if they're not justified. So, all right. So let's the MSU, the college Republicans wanted to get a resolution on the student spring ballot in favor of letting concealed carry permit holders bring guns on campus, but fell short when the number of required signatures changed. The president of the college Republicans said Wednesday that originally they said they needed 2% of the signatures, so they got a few more than that. Once we submitted them, they came back and said you have to have 5% of the people. And of course, we're going into spring break, so it will not be on the ballot. So I don't know I'm not sure why they changed the 2% to 5%. Student government bylaws call for 5%, and just before spring break, the student chief justice and other determined the 5% held. So, but the MSU Constitution requires signatures from 2%. So, student government bylaws, do they trump the MSU Constitution? I don't know. That seems a little weird to me. Let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255. Caller, you are on the air. What's going on?
Yeah, say I was just wanting to talk to Tom and Shane about that little discussion Daniel R. and Shane had last Friday. It was pretty funny, I thought.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Well, it was spirited. Let's say that.
Yeah.
Huh?
Well, anyways, I sent you a text the other day, Tom and Shane, I guess both. I don't know if you read it. I had to go into work, but I said, hey, I think Shane said he's coming down maybe this summer to.
Oh, yeah. You were going to debate. Yeah. You were going to get a debate.
We need to have a live debate here on the radio. I think that'd be a pretty good, kind of one-sided debate. Shane would do all the straightening out there. That poor other fellow would just have to kind of give his, whatever he gives, I guess. But anyways, you guys got a great show.
I'd probably Tom would have to put me in a straitjacket.
I'd have to.
Yeah, tie him up over in a corner.
Well, he'd be waving his arms more than Beto does, Yeah,
I'd have to come up with a roll of duct tape, to take me to the chair.
Yeah, exactly. But anyways, that was good, but it was pretty funny, guys. Yeah. So,
all right.
Thanks.
Hey, thanks a lot. All right.
Okay, bye.
Appreciate it. Thanks for the call. All right. Well, as I say, we're not making fun of anybody or want to make fun of anybody, but it was a spirited discussion. And as I said, if you want to hear it, go back to or go over to KMMSAM.com or AM 1450 KMMS on your smartphone. And you can just go to Tom and Shane's podcasts and find Friday, and you can hear that exchange. It's a little long to play on the air, and I don't want to dwell on this too long. So anyway.
Okay, so I just for the last block, the caller about the rainbow trout.
Mm-hmm.
It's indigenous, or it's a subspecies of the steelhead. And it did end up in tributaries from the Columbia River to Montana and Idaho.
Yeah.
And it's actually the Columbia River red band trout originally.
Wow.
1836 when it first showed up.
And the steelhead's no nice fish either.
It's a mega fish, baby. Yeah,
it eats everything. It eats everything.
It's a salmon hunter, baby.
I know. Let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, thanks for calling. You're on the Morning Soapbox. What's your name? What's going on?
It's Alex. How are you gentlemen doing today?
We're doing good. What's up?
Not too much. When this whole this terrible New Zealand thing happened.
Yes.
It was horrible, and I think everyone can agree with that. But, their gun control laws were so strict and so ridiculous. I thought instantly, man, this is going to be the thing that everyone sees. Gun control laws are a farce. There's no way that it could do anything because you can't stop all the crazies. There's going to be a crazy no matter what it is.
Yeah.
I got two daughters that are going to be of age soon, and they'll be going to college, and I would just absolutely love to know that there is gentlemen in their class concealed carrying that if something stupid was to go off, they would at least have more of a chance than if no one's got a firearm to, just like that FBI thing that came out talking about the percentages of people that, stop bad things from happening when there is firearms compared to when there's not firearms around. I don't know. What I got out of the New Zealand thing was people aren't ever going to see because it's like this right and left thing. It's not a protect ourselves thing.
Yeah, it isn't. It's how can we, if we stop everybody from doing something, if we take your cars away or, take your guns away or take your food away or whatever, then we're acting in a humane way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous that people aren't able to see that you can't stop all the crazy people, and the more and more people we have in this world, and what social media is doing to everyone's minds, just making everyone super aggressive and angry. It's just getting worse. I don't want, I almost feel like I have to start concealed carrying more often, and not just when my wife and kids are with me. I have to start doing it more often to protect everybody around me. It's like,
that's the way I feel when I'm walking around downtown or I'm in some public place with my wife and whatever. I'm pretty confident there's somebody probably within 10 feet of me that's got a gun on them.
Exactly.
I feel pretty safe. If somebody starts shooting.
Right. And and the problem is that everybody's in this like defensive safe space mode where they think that if they just get rid of all the guns, then there will be no longer any problems. But the truth is there's going to be someone with guns with bad intentions. They're mentally inapt or whatever it might be. They got something going on, and somebody's got to be able to say, nope, this stops here, instead of it stops 20 people from now when the cops finally show up or the security shows up.
But usually, I think in Montana, I don't think they're going to go down and start shooting up the Gallatin Valley Mall because they know somebody in there is going to have a gun on them.
Exactly. And I just wish the people they would understand. The same thing comes with like the military. When people talk crap about the military on a bigger scale, it's just kind of the same. I was in the Marine Corps, so it's kind of the same situation when, they got a problem with making the Atkins High School or whatever they want to call it, because, I don't want my kids to be in the military. Why would I want them to fight for this country? But they don't understand that the same way you go to the Gallatin Mall and someone's got your back. Yeah. Someone's got our back every single day out there in Iraq or Afghanistan or Syria or wherever it might be, making it possible for these people to come up with these crazy thoughts. You know what I mean?
I know, yeah. Hey, thanks for the call. I appreciate it.
Have a good day, you guys.
Yeah, thanks for the call. Let's take one more call, and we got to take a break. Caller, you are on the air. What's going on?
Hello, my name's Richard. I wanted to talk about kids voting and also gun control.
Yeah, sure.
The one thing I've always thought about not letting kids vote, like whatever age, and you said, like, how many of them know what the branches of the government are?
Yeah, one of our texters said that. How many know 100 years ago they might have known the branch of government, but he doubts they do today.
Well, but right now you could ask that same question to a bunch of 50-year-olds or 40-year-olds, and they wouldn't
You're probably
know
right.
And the other thing about, one of our big slogans is no taxation without representation.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So why should a 16-year-old kid that has a job and has to pay taxes not be allowed to vote?
Well, I don't have a problem with that. I'm just,
because
we're just putting it out there, yeah.
But we don't let them vote.
Yeah.
It's like, so somebody else is spending their money, and they have no say in how it's done.
Well, we let them serve in the military, but they're not old enough to drink, so.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's like you can be 15 years old and have a job. You can't drive a car.
Yep.
You can't do all sorts of things, but you're still paying taxes.
Yep, I hear you.
And then like gun control, I've thought for years, like maybe we should just make every woman 21 or something that, isn't insane, be required to carry a gun, because women rarely go crazy with guns.
Well, I would say that's true.
And so then there would be a lot of armed people out there, and it would change society.
Well, as I say, it's usually when somebody shows up with a gun, it takes another person to show up with a gun to stop them.
Well, and the other problem, of course, is if there's two good people with guns, how do they know who the bad guy is?
That's true too, and we've talked about that in school. When you got a bunch of kids running up and down the hallway, how do you know which one is a shooter? And what do you do? So that's where the training and everything comes in to recognize body language or whatever they do, to whatever the police do to identify who's the good guys and who's the bad guys.
When Gabby Giffords got shot, there were like one or two people that had permits, and one of them got there and almost shot the guy that had wrestled the gun away from the assailant.
Yeah.
So that's like, how do you deal with that problem?
There you go.
Thanks.
All right. Hey, thanks for the call. Yeah, appreciate it. All right, we got to take a quick break. We'll be right back. 25 minutes after the hour, we've had a caller patiently waiting on the line. Caller, you are on the Morning Soapbox. What's going on?
Hey, good morning, Tom. This is another Kevin in Bozeman.
All right.
I'm doing pretty good. How are you today?
Living my dream, man. Living my dream.
There you go. There you go. Hey, I think the only reason, in fact, I know the only reason that allowing 16-year-olds to vote or changing the law that will allow them to vote, the only reason is so that the Democrats can get all those minds full of mush to vote, and they'd have that many more voters.
Well, yeah, I noticed they had the walkout for climate change on Friday, not on Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah. Big deal. Whoopsie.
Yeah, I know. I'm not sure how many would have showed up on Saturday because, their friends are at the mall.
Yeah. Yeah.
But get out of class? Sure. I hate climate change. Let's go.
Exactly. So, but that's all I had.
All right. Hey, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. All right. Let's take another call. 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255. Caller, you are on the soapbox. What's up?
Good morning, Tom. Shane. It's Jerry. Just thought I'd give you the numbers. Over the past 10 years, over 24 million good guys, instances where a good guy with a gun stopped a bad guy with a gun in the United States of America.
Wow.
That's over 200,000 times a month, okay?
Yeah.
Where situations have arisen for whatever reason. That's not saying every time the trigger was pulled, obviously. But we had a good guy with a gun stopped a bad guy with a gun. So, those are the numbers and that's from the CDC. That's not just some fictitious number. That's the government's number.
Yeah, they started keeping track of that about, I don't know, Shane, 10 years ago, maybe something like that. The CDC started doing that sometime or other. I don't remember the exact timeline, but I know they did start keeping those records.
And those are the reported ones.
Right, yeah. There's several that probably aren't reported that people settle it themselves or whatever.
In my own case, we had an intruder in our house when I wasn't home, and he met my wife staring down the barrel of a .357 Magnum.
Yeah.
Okay, and promptly turned around and left. Okay.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot more to this issue than these, boobs down in New Zealand that go crazy and start killing 50 people.
Right, yeah.
All right. Have a great day.
Yeah,
guys.
all right. Thanks for the call. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for listening. All right.
Just so you know, because you brought it up, 1992, the CDC colleagues founded the CDC National Center for Injury Prevention and Control with an annual budget of $260,000 to keep track of these numbers. So there you go.
$260,000. Wow, that sounds like a bargain.
Yeah.
Well, they got like one person doing it.
Well, sounds like a government agency that works. Wow.
I guess so. All right, that wraps it up for this half hour. We still got the 5 things we need to get to, Shane. So we'll see if we can get to those as we go along. And but hey, we'll keep the conversation going. Anything you guys want to talk about, we got open lines all day today, no guests. So this is your opportunity to vent or whatever. So give us a call. 522-TALK is the number, or 478-8298. Or if you're on the smartphone, right next to the listen to us is a message button. So click on that, sign up, and you can message us directly from your smartphone, faster than a text. So we'll be right back. 23 minutes before the top of the hour. It is Thursday all day, March 21st, 2019. 27 degrees outside. Yeah, I promise it'll be Thursday all day today, Shane. So.
Yeah, until the clocks,
Yeah, until the clock's right.
12 midnight, yeah, exactly.
Right, there you go. From our text line, we were talking earlier about the exchange between Daniel and Shane. Daniel has proudly proclaimed on your radio station he's working from a position of ignorance. He then comes on the air and preaches to us about how things should be. Regarding 16-year-olds voting, Shane, 16-year-olds invented and participated in the Tide Pod Challenge.
There you go.
That's why they shouldn't vote. So if you're not sure what the Tide Pod Challenge is, kids for a while were snorting or eating Tide laundry detergent pods.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly.
So obviously that was not a very smart thing for them to do. So and let's see from our text line 478-8298. Anyone that is living in Montana and voting against border security is a raging out of control state liberal that is running this state. Please leave and never come back. This is a conservative state. We don't want liberals here. So that's the opinion of one of our texters. So let's another one for 478-8298 is the number. I doubt many 16-year-olds actually make enough money that they are paying income tax. How about before anyone of any age can vote, they have to pass a basic civics test and a basic English literacy test. I've always thought there ought to be some kind of a test for you to vote, you know.
Yeah, you'd think so. I mean,
yeah.
There is a citizenship test after all.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know, that probably most of us couldn't pass. I think we tried that on the air one day. We had the citizenship test. And does anybody know? How does a bill become a law? Well, you give your congressman $50,000. That's how.
That's right.
That's how it happens. Well,
or a promise of 50,000. Right?
Okay. So anyway, from our texter, he, I love it. You guys did good. So I'm not sure what we did good on, but whatever it was, we did it well. So thanks, Shane.
All right.
Good job for you. Good job for me. All right. So, well, we were talking about the New Zealand banning. They're going to ban semi-automatic rifles 6 days after the murder. 50 people in Tumas in Christchurch, New Zealand. Their prime minister effectively banned the sale of AR-15s and all similar assault rifles Thursday afternoon. They want you to come down and turn them in, Shane, or let them know you have one or something like that. So, and they also want to get rid of the semi-automatic and high-capacity magazines. And these changes will require legislation, but she expects the bans to be enshrined in law by April 11th with a buyback program put in place afterwards. So I guess they're going to buy back your AR-15s or whatever they are down there. So.
And here we go once again without knowledge. These things are, politically responded to. So here's the context, listeners. The Armor Light AR-15 is a select-fire, air-cooled, gas-operated, magazine-fed assault rifle manufactured in the United States between 1959 and 1964. They're not produced anymore. And adopted by the United States Armed Forces as the M16 rifle. Mm-hmm. And it was designed by the gun manufacturer Armalite in 1956, designed by three guys, Eugene Stoner, Jim Sullivan, and Bob Fremont. So here's where it gets interesting. In 1959, Armalite sold its rights to the AR-10 and AR-15 to Colt Manufacturing. And they developed the M16 rifle because as an assault rifle to fire a new high-velocity, lightweight, small-caliber cartridge to allow infantrymen to carry more ammunition. So if they're going to outlaw the AR-15, which, as you just heard, is no longer manufactured, they should be looking at the the M16 rifle, because that's this is what's so crazy about people that jump at these things. It's like the Smollett thing,
Yeah.
People jump at it. There's no context. There's no discussion. Yeah. And so there you go, folks. That's the history of the AR-15. Not even made anymore.
All right. Let's go to the phones. 522-TALK is the number. Then we got to take a break. Caller, you are on the air. What's up?
Good morning. This is Charity.
Hey.
I have to add to my 16-year-old's voting comments from yesterday.
Sure.
And I was thinking about two different little sayings. One, that you can take a good thing too far, and two wrongs don't make a right. And that would be that the idea that a 16-year-old is taxed by the government is probably not a good thing in the first place, except for the idea that people don't want to be paying taxes without representation. And I was thinking back to the Founding Fathers who never intended for the individual to be taxed, and that is why only landowners were taxed from the beginning.
Yeah.
So when you change laws to include everyone, then you end up with issues. And then the other thing is, because they're taxed, we also make another wrong and allow them to vote? I don't think that's going to fix anything either. I think that will make it worse.
Yeah, from our text line, Charity, 478-8298, just because 16-year-olds have a job does not give them the maturity nor the knowledge to vote. They're still living at home under their parents' guardianship.
Yes, and I would say that, we have the same conflict again when it comes to 18-year-olds voting and joining the military, but not being able to drink.
Yeah.
The whole reason that they're not able to drink at that age is because their brains aren't developed. They make poor choices. They have, still this outlook on life that's a little bit reckless.
True.
Especially boys.
And they will also buy booze for 16-year-olds.
Exactly. Yes, they will. So will 21-year-olds.
I am guilty of doing that.
But anyway, so I feel like there's conflict that arises with all of these things, and I wish, that that people didn't have that mindset with taking a good thing too far. But so be it. And I appreciate that caller earlier that talked about his daughters going to school soon and wishing that there would be, a concealed carry gentleman present to protect them, because I have two daughters as well, and I feel the same way. And arming girls is different than arming boys.
Yeah, I would think so.
Well, boys are the ones likely to.
Yeah. We run around with towels around our backs and swords and stuff.
Well, you have the instinct that God put in you to protect.
There you go.
And girls don't necessarily.
I got to go, Charity.
Okay,
I'm sorry I'm
you.
up against
Bye.
a break. Thanks for the call. All right, we'll be right back. 11 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Thursday, March 21st, 2019, 27 degrees outside. Welcome to the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. And Shane and Tom in Vancouver, British Columbia, half man, half amazing. And
somewhere up north.
Yeah, he's in the witness protection program here.
That's it.
Just an FYI, Burger Bob's and the Cannery are going to be closed starting today through the 26th. They got themselves in a little bit of trouble back in 2017, Shane. They bartenders got drunk and they didn't shuffle everybody out at the 2 o'clock closing time. So they terminated a bunch of employees, I guess. And since they've put their closing time back to an hour earlier than the required time, and they did that as a proactive approach to help themselves, obviously, and protect the public and the customers and all of that. So 14 months later, we received a notice from the state that they are requiring us to pay a large fine and have a mandatory closure of 6 days in order to continue to operate in the future. So Burger Bob's and the Cannery will be down from the 21st to the 26th. And the only shining good news on this deal is if you're in a college town and you have to shut down, spring break's the ideal time to do it. So
it is indeed, right? Yeah.
I would say that's a pretty good deal. So if Burger Bob's is one of your eating establishments you particularly like, they will resume business on Wednesday, March 27th. So they appreciate your business, and hopefully you will continue to patronize them. Yeah. Let's take one more quick call, and we got to take another break. Caller, you on the air? What's up?
Yes, Tom, this is Ed Antilla.
Yeah.
There's a Dr. Ed Berry, a would be an interesting man for your radio show on this climate change that you were talking about earlier.
Okay.
And just reading
Is it Berry?
Pardon me?
Is it Berry, Barry? Or Bary?
BERRY.com.
Okay. Ed Barry, yeah. Okay. I'll check it out.
You guys, it'd be wonderful to have him on your show.
Well,
one of you guys talk with you guys.
Yeah. All right. Hey, appreciate the tip. So we'll check it out. All right. Thanks a lot. All right. We'll be right back right after this. Noxitril warning. Second commercial right after Radio Shack. So act accordingly. We'll be right back. 3 minutes before the top of the hour. It is Thursday, March 21st, 2019, 28 degrees outside. Welcome to the KMMS Morning Soapbox. And looking at our poll this morning, should 16-year-olds be allowed to vote? And as Shane predicted, 96% no on our poll this morning. So only 3% yes on 16-year-olds voting. So you called it there, my friend.
No, I don't think it's a big surprise.
I'm not surprised. I think it's a it was kind of a landslide question anyway. Anyway, get over there and vote, KMMSAM.com. Put your vote in, and our AM 1450 KMMS and our smartphone. Also, don't forget we've got a new messaging thing on our station here that you can go to. You can go to KMMS or AM 1450 KMMS on your smartphone, and we will take messages from there. When you open your smartphone, you'll see the button for listen to the show. Right next to it is a message button. So you press that, sign up, and when you open that in the future, it will automatically send out a message to us. And it may be faster and easier than texting for you. So we'll entertain that as well. Hopefully that will be that'll be a way to reach us a little easier. So we'll be monitoring that and our text line at 478-8298. Let's see, from our text line, hey, Tom and Shane, if the reason to let 16-year-olds vote is because they pay taxes, then do all these adults on the dole welfare that don't pay taxes get to vote? Yeah, there you go. That would work. Yeah. So there we go. So it's a good analogy there. So. But yeah, from our, let's see, we don't have anything on our text line at the moment. That was the last one. So we'll save that up. So, yeah, if you want to text us, 478-8298, or go to our smartphone, AM 1450 KMMS, and click on right next to listen to us is the message. And just hit that message button, and it'll take you right to a fill-in-the-blank or do your message right there, and it'll work out pretty well. So we'll get it right away. All right, that wraps it up for the second hour of Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. We'll be back. We still got a full hour to go. Open lines, anything you guys want to talk about. We're here to take your calls, take your texts. We've been talking about gun control. We've been talking about concealed carry in New Zealand and all sorts of things, spotted trout or whatever they are, the smallmouth trout or whatever. Yeah. Got concealed carry on the campus, and legislators are looking at counting the ballots before the election, the absentee ballots. So we'll be talking a little bit about that when we come back. So got a lot to do yet, so stay tuned. And we'll be back right after the news at the top of the hour, Montana State News and Brooke Foster weather. 5 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock, it is Thursday, March 21st, 2019, 28 degrees outside. Shane Montalban on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia, half man, half amazing. And this is the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. And open lines, anything you guys want to talk about, we'll be happy to entertain your thoughts. What is it? Comments, criticism, complaints, whatever. Whatever you got on your mind. Opinions, yeah. Whatever you got on your mind, Yeah, come on in, and 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255, or give us a text at 478-8298, or you can also message us at our new message board on your smartphone. Just go over to KMMSAM.com. Right next to the listen button, you'll see a message button, and click on that and sign up and send your messages, and it's real simple to do and might be faster than texting. So I don't know. So you tell me which you like best.
Yeah.
So, the message is already there. All you got to do is type in your message, and boom, it'll shoot it over to us, and we will be happy to entertain that. Anything you guys have on your mind, we are here and ready to hear it. So, well, Shane, we talked about a little bit about this, teased before the break, that Montana's election administrators are asking lawmakers to allow them to open and begin counting absentee ballots earlier than the number because the number mailed in continues to increase. And it's Senate Bill 162. And we'll be talking with Scott Sales on Monday, along with Steve White in the 8 o'clock hour. That's going to change. If you're used to hearing Scott on Friday morning, we're not going to have him on Friday morning. We're going to have him on with Steve White at 8 o'clock. So if that's if that's an inconvenient time for you, you can always pick it up on our recording of our show at afterwards. So go
keyword download.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Do that. And just go over to KMMSAM.com and click on Tom and Shane podcast, and you can hear the entire show. So, coming up on Fridays, Scott Sales is going to try to arrange a local legislator for us to interview. And we'll be talking to someone different, I hope, every Friday morning. So kind of give you a perspective of different legislators, how they feel, what their bills are, what their concerns are, and all of that. So we'll be doing that at 7 o'clock on Fridays from now on. So, but anyway, the early ballots, I don't see a problem with opening the ballots early. Do you, Shane? I mean,
no, I think that's great.
Yes. You'll be able to tally everything much faster if that's done. And the only thing I can see is where, if somebody who's doing the counting goes to lunch and says, Trump's leading or Hillary's leading, and that spreads across the voting landscape, So I would say let's keep that under wraps, whatever the tallies are. But they have machines that do this apparently, and the county commissioners are considering purchasing a third tabulator, and these things only cost $103,000, Shane. I mean, you and I could go down there and count them for 58.
That's right.
So I don't know, but anyway, in 2016, obviously with the Trump election, a record turnout for a midterm election and all of that. Took election departments 38 continuous hours to process more than 112,000 sheets in its two-vote counting machines. So I can see where as more people are going to the, going to that kind of ballot, that it makes sense to give them a little head start on getting those tallies done and getting the results out to us faster. So that would that's worth it. Yeah. Let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, you are on the air. What's going on?
How's it going?
Good.
So I'd just like to know, and I'm pretty sure I do know, but our tabulators are probably hooked to the internet, and that needs to stop. Oregon is the only state that their tabulator isn't hooked to the internet.
I don't think ours are hooked to the internet as far as I know.
Are you sure? We should find that out. Because
I can certainly call over there to, it's not Charlotte Mills anymore.
No, we talked about this with White, and he said that it isn't.
Yeah.
It's not.
Well, we could check on that. We'll make a call and we'll find out for sure. But I'm pretty sure that they aren't on the internet in any way, shape, or form. As far as I know, they either they send the information on a closed network, as far as I know.
Well, let's hope so.
Yeah. Well, I
agree with you
too.
I think they should pay me $100,000 to count them, and that'd be way fair.
There you go.
I was going to say, yeah. You spend the money locally here, see?
Yeah, exactly. I won't even go
a job you'd love to have, and you'd do it once every 2 years.
Yeah.
Wow, I love it.
Hey, I won't even spend it at Walmart. It'll stay in the community.
Well, there you go. Good for you. Share some with Shane and I.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, thanks for the call. Yeah, we'll check that
no
out.
problem.
But I'm pretty sure I don't think they're connected to anything.
Maybe I'll Google it right now.
Yeah, check it out. See. All right. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Tom.
Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. All right. Yeah. The voter suppression, voter ID, voter fraud, voter everything is such a topic anymore, and everybody swears up and down, oh, there's no voter fraud anywhere. But every once in a while you find somebody with 18 IDs and whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
Or the kids.
Yeah, illegal immigrants can get illegal Social Security number and
driver's license. Yeah, and
there's no illegal voting, right?
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah, not a chance.
Sure.
So,
riddle me that one.
Yeah, well, plus the college kids vote here and then send their absentee ballot back to wherever they came from. And
exactly.
So, yeah. Let's take another phone call. 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255. Caller, you on the Morning Soapbox. What's going on?
Well, I just want to read something out of my Webster's synonym dictionary.
All right.
You ready for this? You get a chuckle.
I hope so.
The synonym for patriot is a nationalist.
Ooh.
Or it's also a flag waver.
Yeah.
Or a ultra-nationalist, and it's also a public-spirited citizen.
Well, okay.
So I
guess we're all of those, huh?
Well, since I'm a veteran, I guess I'm a Caucasian.
Yeah. Flag-waving nationalist, huh?
Caucasian patriot.
Well, there you go. Me too. I'm a vet as well. So.
Well,
nice hat, by the way.
Are you a patriot?
I like to think so.
I wonder where they came up with that white nationalist crap.
Well, I don't know.
Who invented that, I wonder?
Well, the same people invented climate change.
Yeah, I hear you.
A Democrat consultant. That's the
Tom, you're doing a great job.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thanks for the call. All right, I appreciate that very much. Yeah, thanks. And Shane, too. He's not just a pretty face.
Tom,
I know you do, man. You do a great job, too, and I'm glad you're here. So, all right. Well, let's see.
5 things to know.
Yeah, you're right. We haven't got over to that. Well, we talked briefly about New Zealand banning semi-automatic rifles and things like that. But, Trump continues with McCain. He's pretty unhappy. McCain blocked the overthrow of Obamacare. And so that's...
here's the thing. I watch all of his speeches because of what we do and I do here.
Sure.
And because he's the biggest draw in town. But, he spoke for quite a while and he covered a lot of things, none of which were referenced. I mean, there were huge economic news yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The last year, 3.1% GDP. Right. Nobody even mentions it, right?
Yeah.
So on and on. And he talked about that. Now,
and no raises in the interest rate or no cuts.
Exactly.
So everything's staying the same.
Unemployment and the whole shebang. Now, here's the thing. I just want to make this observation.
Sure.
I didn't really know about this. I sort of had an understanding, but then I went and took a deep dive. So here's what I found that I found really disturbing. On December 9th, 2016, John McCain met with Kramer in December, and let's see, where am I at with this? I'm sorry. And Kramer was ex ambassador to Moscow, and they talked about this dossier. So he knew about it. And like Trump said yesterday, now, does he pick the phone up and call me and tell me about it? No. He takes it to the FBI. And then on top of it, He's the one who fed it to BuzzFeed to put it out there. So, there's a lot of angst. And when you have these kind of things happen in your life, it's hard to walk down. It's hard to, to not react to it. I mean, you're just human.
Well,
So,
particularly when he endorsed Mccain, Trump did, and whether that counts or not, I don't know. McCain probably said, "I don't need it," or "I don't want it."
And McCain campaigned for 12 years, on replace Obamacare, like you said. And at 2 a.m. on the vote, he walks into the well of the Senate and thumbs down it. The one vote by one vote.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a lot of angst there.
There is. Let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number. 522-8255. Caller, you're on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Nope, they're gone.
Well, all right. Okay, they're gone. From our text line, 478-8298, we're all the same color when we turn out the lights. And the sure sign of insanity, let me pull it up. The sure sign of insanity is ranting at a dead man. So there you are.
That's a good opinion, right?
It is a good opinion. So, hey, all views are welcome here. So, hey, we don't pull any punches on what comes in on the on our text line at 478-8298. Or also beware of our new messaging on the smartphone at AM 1450 KMMS. Right next to the Listen to Us button is a message button, so click on that, and that'll shoot a message over to us. That might be easier than texting, so check that out if you have a smartphone, and you've got our KMMS app installed. Just one more benefit of having that app on your phone. Yeah. All right, we got to take a quick break, and no Noxatril, no nothing too offensive other than the hernia. So, right. So if you got a hernia, listen up.
Ouch.
We'll be right back. 21 minutes after the hour of 8 a.m. It's Thursday, March 21st, 2019. 29 degrees outside. Looking for a high of 42 today, Shane. And you're listening to the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. Shane, the aforementioned half man, half amazing in Vancouver, British Columbia. Tom Eagleoff, your morning mayor. You know where I got half man, half amazing? That's Vince Carter, professional basketball player.
Oh my gosh!
He was called half man, half amazing. So I stole that because it fits you perfectly. So there you are.
Actually, I'm half tall.
Well,
half tall because I could never play basketball.
Well, you are half tall. That's true. From our text line, 478-8298, your Livingston transmitter is down, and we did get a message on that earlier, but I want to let people know we don't always know that, so by all means, don't assume that we know. Go ahead and text us and let us know that if we're not coming through somewhere, and we want to know that. I went ahead and we sent off alerts to our engineer and to the GM of the stations. So, but please don't assume that we know the transmitters are down. Always text us or call or whatever, if we're not on the air, because, we could have just gone down, or any number of things, could have happened. So don't feel you're piling on us with something that we already know. We're not going to get mad at you for one more text and I'm out of here. We're not going to do that. So just keep that in mind. We appreciate you letting us know that anytime that we're not up to snuff, we need to get that information out to our people and make sure we can get back on the air as quickly as possible. So sometimes on the early morning, it doesn't happen all that fast because we got to get people out of bed and get them to drive over to some transmitter, traverse through the snow halfway up to a transmitter somewhere. So it doesn't always happen immediately. It's not like flipping a switch, So keep that in mind. But we do appreciate you letting us know anytime that we're not on the air. We want to know that. So by all means, don't assume we know. So send us a text, give us a call, whatever. So we're working on it. We'll get it up as quickly as we can. So there we are.
Yeah, you are.
All right, 5 things you need to know. We're also looking at the EPA head says unsafe water is a bigger crisis than climate change. So Andrew Wheeler on Wednesday said that polluted water, drought, and ocean trash are the largest and most immediate environmental and public health issues affecting the world right now. He made his remarks in Washington on World Water Day, saying he is frustrated because water issues often take a back seat to larger discussions about global warming. But most of the threats from climate change are 50 to 75 years out. And we need to do what we need to do is make it safe to make sure that people who are dying today from lack of having drinking water in third world countries, that problem is addressed. And I think I saw a story the other day where they found a dead whale, and cutting it open, there was like 50 pounds of plastic inside the whale or something like that, or 100 pounds of plastic in there or something. I mean, geez, we gotta start. We gotta stop throwing stuff in the ocean. Come on.
That's right. There you go.
Shane and I don't. Well, Shane's closer to the water than I am, but
Well, it's so sad because it's just a massive problem. And
but when
most of it comes from Asia and South America.
Well, I was going to say, when you see some of these third world countries here, the streams that run through their cities, you can almost walk across the water on the garbage that's floating in the water. And why they don't do something about that, I have no idea. But I would agree with the EPA guy here that things in our oceans, particularly, are particularly bad. So,
well, I'd like someone, in the Democratic Party that's in favor of this Green Deal to explain how garbage is going to be collected. I mean, that's a major issue in the 21st century, globally, right? Mm-hmm. So there you go.
Well, and from our text line, 478-8298, all these problems are from petrochemicals, and that would be right. All the plastic is petrochemical created stuff. Right. But it's the responsibility of the person who has the petrochemical stuff in their hands not to throw it in the water.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That would be helpful if you could, just follow that one little rule,
That's right, yeah.
Let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255. Caller, you on the air. What's up?
We used to have a wonderful solution to the global plastic problem. It was called glass bottles.
Glass bottles. I used to work at a glass works. I used to make glass bottles, man.
And kids used to pick them up to go get enough money.
Yeah, you get collect Coke bottles, and you get a 5-cent a bottle thing. You go out and buy your candy.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was a wonderful system, and we had milkmen that delivered your milk and eggs and orange juice every morning and saved you a trip to the store.
Yep. Yeah, they brought it. Yeah, they brought it right to your door. Yeah.
Yep. Way ahead. Now they've gone to this plastic bottles that kill all the fish. Yeah, wonderful.
Yep.
Now they're going to have robots that go out there and pick up the robot ships that pick up the plastic. The Great Pacific Gyre is bigger than the state of Texas.
Oh, yeah.
It's a big floating mound of plastic.
Yeah. Well, like I said earlier, this whale was, died, and they cut it open, and here's all this plastic inside the whale. Jeez.
The solution is glass bottles.
That's it. I'm for that. Right. Let's do it.
Okay.
All right. Hey, thanks for the call. All right. Appreciate it. All right. The situation there, and as the texter rightly pointed out, the problems are from petrochemicals, and as the caller pointed out as well, that, unless people start taking responsibility for their own actions, this is going to not be good. So, Britain's Theresa May asks for a 3-month Brexit delay. So this continuing saga keeps going on, Shane. It keeps going
they got till the 29th, right?
Yep. 29th is the day. Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
So we'll see. I don't know if... let's see. The European Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker told May that if an extension is granted beyond May 23rd's European Parliament elections, there would be institutional difficulties and legal uncertainty. So I don't think May's going to get back in. What do you think?
Well, she's in a minority government right now.
Yeah, I know.
And
that's what I say.
Because of the Irish representatives, from Northern Ireland in their House, that's how she's maintaining her majority.
Mm-hmm.
So the backdoor problem to this is the border issue. Excuse me, the backdoor issue about the border.
Mm-hmm.
As we all know, Northern England is still part of the United Kingdom.
Yep.
And it's an island unto England, and it's the northern part. So that's the issue right there. Ireland's the issue, buddy.
All right. We'll be right back, so stay tuned. We come back, we've got to talk about states are going to start requiring politicians to do their tax returns or release their tax returns. So what do you think about that? We'll talk about it when we come back right after this break. 23 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Thursday, March 21st, 2019, 30 degrees outside. We're getting close to that 42 high today, Shane, so we're working toward that. And on our poll question of the day, should 16-year-olds be allowed to vote? No is ahead by 96% to 3, Shane. So far in our morning poll, so you can get over there and vote at KMMSAM.com or go to AM 1450 KMMS on your smartphone, and also take advantage of our new messaging on your smartphone over there. We'll be happy to get your messages that way. And let's see, hemp, corn, and soy can do anything oil can. We should prop up hemp with the $9 billion in welfare we give to the oil companies. So that may be we finally legalized hemp here, Shane, so.
That's right, yeah.
I'm not sure that hemp is the answer that everybody thinks it is, because China is the largest hemp grower, I believe, and they haven't cornered the market in all the places it's illegal, so.
Well, yeah, that's right. And the only global cartel left is cotton, and they don't want out there to be competing with their product.
Yeah.
Hemp requires 1/10 the amount of water, and
it's easier to grow. And
it's easier to grow in any climate.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Well, I think many Montana farmers are probably taking a close look at it. I don't know if there's any farmers out there that are listening to us that are considering hemp as a crop. Give us a call and let us know what what you found out from your sources, and we'd be happy to get that info. I certainly have nothing against hemp. It was very popular at one time, but making ropes, clothing, everything else, but nylon and rayon kind of changed the structure of that. And
exactly.
So hemp kind of went away.
That's right. And corn's a miracle vegetable. I mean, it's great for protein, and it's a natural sweetener, so it's used in both those. It can create, obviously for fuel, and also a lubricant. But, you're dealing with an issue that affects everybody's lives, and, we've, again, talked about it. 90% of everything you walk through in life every day has oil in it, so what are you going to do?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's going to take time for hemp to come back from where it was.
Oh, yeah.
We just don't turn on a dime anymore. We're like I say, the American economy is like an ocean liner. It takes it about 50 miles to turn around, right?
Well, General Electric isn't around anymore to make irons, because you'll need an iron to, iron everything once again.
Well, that's true, yeah. What's their stock now, 10 cents?
Yeah.
I don't know. Hey, speaking of the markets, we opened the Federal Reserve didn't make much news yesterday. Well, I guess they did make news. They're not going to raise rates. They're not going to cut rates, at least till they're predicting maybe till next summer, a year from now. So
a year from now, yeah, I'd be very surprised.
Yeah, we're up 80 points on the Dow. 25.8 is where we are at the moment, and Nasdaq's up. The New York Stock Exchange is up. Most of the things are up, so it's kind of working.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, China's down somewhat, wasn't it? I haven't
China's
looked.
down major. Yeah. Their economy is really hurting. And I did a deep dive.
Yeah.
I did a deep dive on their Congress they just completed, and the news was not good. Nobody in the government in China is happy right now.
Yeah. Well, I would think not. I know the tariffs are still in place. Are still put in place, and till they come to the table, I guess they're going to stay there. And of course, in some cases, that does hurt our farmers. It does hurt some of our industries. But, what's the alternative? Go back to the imbalance of trade where, our products cost tons over there and everything they get comes in here for free. I don't know.
Yeah, can't go there.
Yeah, what's the alternative? We got to get rid of one or the other. So let's go to the phones. 522 Talk is the number. Call you on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
I have some friends that grew hemp. There's no place to process it.
Well, that's one of the problems. That's why I said it's not going to come back. It's not going to come back in a hurry. That's for sure.
Yeah, they got to have a place that takes it first.
Yeah,
it's a good crop. Just doesn't. There's no place to sell it.
Yeah. Well, they just made it legal this year, I believe, or last year, I think, to grow. So if farmers do start growing it, maybe they'll, maybe some of the elevators or the places that take other grains will start taking hemp.
Well, and it's a great possibility of creating a clothing industry again in the United States and using hemp.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope the corporations.
As I say, most of that stuff is made overseas, so you're going to have to ship it off to Vietnam or Malaysia or one of those places, Indonesia somewhere. So.
Or make automated plants here in America and produce clothing here and not import it. There you are.
That would be the thing if they, you can't do one without the other.
That's right, exactly.
You aren't going to grow hemp if you can't sell it, or there's no place to process it or take it, and they aren't going to put up a place to process it or and take it if there's no hemp. So it's sort of a damned if you do, damned if you don't. But we got to take a quick break. We'll be right back right after this. 14 minutes before the top of the hour. It is Thursday, March 21st, 2019, 31 degrees outside. Happy first day of spring, everyone. Happy to, we're looking for a high of 42 degrees today, so hopefully that will pan out and get rid of a little more snow. We've got about 3 or 4 days of 40-degree days coming. And then snow and rain and whatever comes back in. But, oh, well, it's
I'll
Montana.
Give you a heads up. I'll give you a heads up.
Yeah, whatever you get, we get about 2 days later. So, so if it's raining there, we're either going to rain or snow or something. So, well, in other news, several state legislatures are looking to pass laws that will require presidential candidates to release their tax returns if they want to see their name on voting ballots, which could keep President Trump off the ballot in 2020 presidential election. So some proponents of the numerous bills argue that they are geared toward increasing transparency and returning to the norm of candidates sharing their financial records with the public, which Trump has to date refused to do, but other lawmakers have admitted that the legislative push is very much about Trump, and I would say it is very much about Trump. And, I always think back to the last really rich guy that we had as president was Kennedy. He never released any tax returns. And most of the presidents, I think it started with Nixon doing the tax returns coming out. And FDR and some of the others released them, Truman and others. Only after they were out of office did they release their tax returns.
That's right. So context for all you people want to have a conversation with your friends about this. This really your Congress, 92nd Congress, Nixon proposed the Federal Election Campaign Act of 1971, which was federal law to regulate campaign spending and fundraising. That was before Watergate. Then after Watergate, in 1974, the Congress passed, the 93rd Congress passed the Federal Election Commission. It meant to be an independent regulatory agency whose purpose is to enforce campaign finance laws. The interesting thing is they have a budget of $79 million and about 340 employees. Now let's flash forward here to where we are with all this today. There's been 4 opportunities with legislation proposed by both parties in the House and the Senate, neither of which have been amended to include this, that all politicians should provide their tax returns.
Yeah.
Wonder why? Because none of them want to tell you how they got all their money.
Well, that's certainly true. But the other thing that I always fall back on is if the IRS doesn't have any problem with Trump, what am I going to find? And I'm guessing,
exactly.
and I'm guessing it's not a Motel 6 audit. No, I think it's a top drawer forensic audit, probably.
Exactly. Yeah.
And plus on top of that, under law, the president and vice president are audited every year they're in office for that very reason.
Purpose. So the Federal Election Commission does review the tax requirements that are made for you to file as president, which there are.
Yeah.
And they can either fine you for not properly filing, or they can refer to the Attorney General, criminal charge. But they can't do anything other than fine. So I'm sure, like we've talked in the last 3 weeks, I want to see all the Democrats' tax returns.
I was going to say, let's get Beto's out there.
Yeah, if you want this pendulum to swing, it's got to go both ways.
How much does that poetry pay?
Yeah, that's right.
It's gonna go on. Well, the other thing is that before Trump could run for office, he had to release to the election and the Senate Finance Committee all sources of income, and that's 104 pages of income where the money's coming from. Yeah,
and it's public.
That's public. Yeah, it's on online. Just look up Trump's sources of income to the election committee, and you'll find it there. And it's he has to do that every year.
And the amazing thing is that if you remember when, oh my gosh, okay.
No, it's okay. Finish your thought. I'm just letting you know.
In 2012, when Romney ran against Obama, Romney released his taxes, but Obama wouldn't.
Well, there you are. So, all right, we got the Rush update and Noxatril, and we've got, I don't know, something else. Anyway, here's Rush. 4 minutes for the top of the hour. We just had a caller off the line chain that was pointing out that you may have to amend the Constitution if you want to include tax returns in there, because you got to be 35 years of age, you got to be a natural-born citizen, and you have to have resided in the United States for 14 years under the Constitution. And those are the qualifications you have to run for president. Now, I don't know if the states can regulate how you get on the ballot. Or not. So that would be a legal challenge, I think, if they did try to impose tax returns. That could fall by the wayside in the courts, because of it would have to amend the Constitution to include you got to release your public records or whatever. Most people have done it just as a courtesy or as a way to say, hey, here I am, look at my tax return if you want. But I think a lot of people think that Trump is they're going to find all kinds of illegal stuff in his tax return. Well, what's the IRS doing? What are they doing? Sitting on their hands? Oh, we didn't.
Yeah, exactly.
We didn't notice that.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on.
There you go.
Well, and I think a lot of people want to find out he's probably not worth as much as he says he is. So what? He's worth a hell of a lot more than most of us.
That's right. $1 billion less, $1 billion more.
I was going to say $1 billion more, $1 billion less. What does that mean? And from our text line, 478-8298, Colorado has a hemp plant, but it's still federally illegal. And, well, it is and it isn't. President Trump signed the 2018 Farm Bill, but what that says is hemp is produced with nearly 100% CBD, and according to the new federal law, hemp is legal as long as it contains no more than 0.3 THC. Anything more than that, and it's illegal under the federal ban on marijuana. So the move to legalize hemp sometime something activists have advocated for years, and Mitch McConnell is backed because he wants it for Kentucky. He wants Kentucky people to grow it. And,
right, and they're separate subspecies to the plant, and they don't all have THC in them.
That's the thing they're looking for. As long as you're under that 0.3, you're not confused with marijuana, and but they're using it for clothing, nutritional supplements, medicinal treatments of various kinds. So there is, as I say, it's going to take some time for it to go through the system and work its way up to where there are more plants to, process it and whatever. But I guess as long as you stay below that 0.3, it is legal to grow it. And according to the 2018 Farm Bill that the president signed into law. So, all right, we got to go, Shane. Hey, say goodbye.
Well, thank you, Mayor. Goodbye to everyone. Be happy, be safe, and have a great spring day.
That's right. All right. One more day left this week, Shane, so I'm excited about that, huh? Tomorrow will be finally Friday. Jennifer Bordy will join us. And,
That's right, and they're separate subspecies.
We'll go from there. All right. Thanks much, everybody, for being here. Hey, we appreciate it. And we'll be back tomorrow, as always, at 6 a.m. Hey, don't forget, we need about 8 or 9 more people to reach 1,000 on our Facebook page, facebook.com/KMMSAM. Facebook.com/KMMSAM. Get over there and like us, and we'll see everybody tomorrow morning, 6 a.m.